anyone could discover, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they put people, oh, he's discovered this. So what? He didn't create zip.
No.
You know, he didn't. There's, and all these gurus and everything, all the teachers and that, they don't. They're just ordinary people finding things that anyone could find, but they just happen to be looking for them.
You talk about enlightenment, right? Well, they did an experiment on YouTube. You've just won $1 million. You start thinking, what are you going to do with that money and help people and do this and that? And you all get happy and your hormones change, your dopamines kick in the brain and everything's happy, right? But you haven't really won it. But the thing is, you reach that state of belief.
Yeah, well, that's the law of attraction.
Yeah, but you're already happy, thinking what you could do with the money. So why couldn't we get to that level anyway?
Because that's too simplistic. That's focusing on still needing the money to be happy, even though you're just imagining it.
Yeah.
You're still imagining something that you haven't got.
Yep.
All right? And that's the problem, because
you're lacking.
No, there can't be any, I haven't got this, right? That's the killer, right? So it takes, I suppose it's a different amount of time for everybody, but you can't have any, I haven't got this, even though they're dressing it up as, well, just feel that you've got it.
Yeah.
You're still focusing on something that I haven't got.
Yeah.
But I'm going to imagine that I've got it, all right? Well, okay, that's the fairy floss shit.
Yeah.
Because in the fullest sense, there is nothing that we haven't got. It's like what I was just talking about. Okay?
Yes.
Like Buddha says, oh, I found enlightenment. Everyone says, oh, what's that? Okay.
Yeah.
But it's something that everybody could have. It wasn't unique or special to Buddha.
Yeah.
Right? And anything anyone discovers or finds, whether it's science, medicine, spirituality, or anything, is not unique or special to them. Okay? So, anyway, this idea about happiness, it's getting back to the bus trip thing, all right?
Yeah, waking up.
No, but how that feeling of I'm going on a bus trip tomorrow,
Yeah.
okay? It wasn't anything to do with anything material, like a wealth or an acquisition or anything. It was a feeling of anticipation, all right, that you were going to have an experience.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with having money, but someone else could say, yes, but their money will give you, you can buy experiences with the money, but that's not what I'm talking about. When you're a kid and you know you're about to have an experience, you're not thinking about materialism. You're not thinking about wealth. You're not thinking, oh, I hope we're going in a luxury coach. You know what I mean? You don't think that when you're a kid. You know, You're thinking there's an experience coming up. That's it, right? You don't give a shit whether it's going to be like a fancy coach or an old bus. But later on you do, with that, I'm going to, law of attraction, I want a beautiful coach to take me on my bus trip. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah.
So it's, but anyway, but underneath that, this thing about we're not supposed to need or want anything for us to feel happy or to have, to feel sort of safe with ourselves and in ourselves. And see, most people are relying on events, either on people doing this or doing that, or saying this or saying that, or material things to kind of come to them or leave them. All right. Whether it's cash or cars or houses or debts to go away or whatever it is. Okay. They're depending on some kind of deterministic event for that to happen. And even the attraction people, it depends on them being able to kind of like effectively, picture and imagine them having that thing, right? So, and okay, every now and then one of them will tie divinity into it, but most of them don't. It's just about, you know, the
Yeah.
power of one
Yeah.
sort of thing. So, but it's all fucking fluff.
Yeah.
Because no person, place, or thing, you can't rely or depend on anything, anyone, or anything, or any acquisition to, you can't depend on that to allow you, you know, to give you satisfaction and to feel that you are a part of things, because that stuff is always shifting. Money is coming and going. People are coming and going out in and out of your life. They're saying this, and they're unpredictable. Your beloved family pet that you've had for years can turn on you and rip your fucking throat out if you're not careful. You know, if something goes wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just happened, right? This beautiful model had two fucking Rottweilers, okay? And they loved this. They were her beautiful dogs, okay? They started fighting with each other. She got between them to try to pull them off, and they turned on her and they ripped it to fucking bits.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. She depended upon those dogs to give her fucking some kind of validation. And you know, you do this a lot. You depend upon all kinds of feedback and validation from all kinds of people out there in the church and everything, for you to feel like, you know, you're Daryl Kirk getting, you know, being involved with all this stuff, they're reacting, you know, giving their reactions and saying this and they say that, and it's just keeping you from the moment, the now.
That's true.
Right? The now.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think pretty much now on for me, this is about all you're going to get, right? Because I had a little bit of an epiphany last night.
Yeah.
The last couple of days. Did I ever tell you about my Mexican dream?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, this is the cracker. You know, I've got about 10 dreams that I'll never forget, right?
Yeah.
And you've got some too.
Yeah.
Right? Well, this is one of them. It's like it happened 5 seconds ago, like I just had it, right? It's one of those dreams, okay? All right. And you know there's a lot of, Mexico is big for UFOs, you know that, right? Well, you've got your vape, haven't you?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, you've got that. Well, it'll have to do, mate. Mexico big for UFOs, and they fly over volcanoes. I've seen so many YouTube videos of UFOs flying over volcanoes in Mexico. Maybe it had something to do with it. But anyway, this was an astral. This is one of those dreams, mate, burned into my brain. I was with this big fat Mexican bloke, alright? He wasn't huge, but he was one of those chubby Mexican blokes. And there were a few other people as well, right? But I was talking to him when we were walking up the side of this volcano, and there was lava flowing down, and there was like yellow lava on the outside, and there was like a red strip of lava in the middle. Right? There's two different coloured lavas flowing down, and all these rocks and everything, right?
Yeah.
And he said, just walk in this part of the lava, and you'll be okay. So all of us, he was leading, right? So we were walking up side of this mountain, and I was walking in this, all these rocks and all this fucking coloured lava, and I was trying to be really careful, you know, and it's bubbling, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, we were doing it, and we got up to the top of the volcano, and I kind of had the sense that at the top of the volcano there was kind of almost like an intelligence or something, but and it was connected with him, and it was sort of like a female kind of entity. But I sensed her and sort of half saw her there, but that was a bit vague, that bit. But I just sort of felt this connection between him and this female kind of entity thing at the top. Anyway, then he said, I looked down into the crater, You can see all the lava bubbling, right?
Mm.
And he goes, "Now, just jump in." And I said, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, look, jump in, just like this." And he jumped off and into the lava and fucking disappeared, right? Just boop, and he's gone.
Mm.
And I thought, okay, oh well, here we go. And I jumped off, okay? And I went through the lava, alright? Can't wait for this, mate. When I came out, alright, it was like I was in this, best description I can think of is like a large hangar, okay? Like a big aircraft hangar, or an inside of, it was inside something possibly, but it looked like a big hangar.
Yeah.
But it was squeaky clean, and there was a kind of a sort of like a coffee shop sort of thing, an area where people were sitting having coffee, and little tables in an alcove sort of thing. That was over there, right?
Yeah.
And I landed on these white tiles, and there were all these, and I had this kind of uniform, sort of a uniform on, and there were all these people walking past me, and they all had this kind of a certain type of uniform sort of thing going on, and no one was really paying any attention to me. It was just like, it was perfectly normal that I just landed there, okay, and they were just going about their business, and they could see me in that, but I am. And I thought, and I started to head over towards the coffee shop, and I remember thinking, I'm back. Wow, I'm back, just like that. Oh yeah, right, here I am. I'm home. I'm back. And fuck, that was the feeling. I'm back.
Yeah.
And I started to walk over towards the coffee shop, and everything felt so familiar. Like I was home. I knew where I was. I was back.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh yeah, right. I remember now. Yeah, shit. And then I thought, oh, hang on, the other people coming through. I said, I'll just go back and watch them come through. So I walked back to where I came out, and there was this big chute, like this white, looked like a hard plastic chute, and it had this little lever on it, okay?
Yeah.
And I'd come out of that fucking chute. So I was looking up at the chute, I was looking up this lever and everything, and I was waiting for the next people to come through, the ones that were behind me.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it, right?
Right.
But mate, I don't know, and you put in this, Mexico and UFOs and the volcanoes, and every time I hear about UFOs in Mexico over the volcanoes, I think of that dream. But I remember how I felt. Like, it really felt like, oh, I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, you come out of something that was pretty hot, like lava.
But that, well, the premise being, or the idea being that the volcanoes are a doorway back to the other dimension, and that's why the UFOs go through the volcanoes.
Oh yeah, they do.
Because
some of them do.
Taking them to another dimension.
Yeah.
Right? So that's basically what it was all about. It was me going back to my home dimension, and that's what it felt like, and I knew where I was, and all these people seemed to know me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was just one of the crowd. And I felt like, I remember the feeling of, oh yeah, right, oh yeah, I'm back. And all of a sudden, being here on the earth and in this world, it was just drifting away. It was like, oh, I'm home.
Yep.
And you know what I mean? It was like, just that feeling of certainty.
Well, we're going to go through the doorway when we die anyway. So but we aren't coming back. But wherever we're going to, hopefully it's peaceful.
It's just a dream.
Now I want to discuss quickly with you. Hopefully quickly. Anyway. I've been watching a lot of YouTubes on trying to get scripture for the King Solomon magic thing, and there's nothing, hardly, except there was no hammer no banging sounds at night, and the people declare that there was some mystery going on building the temple, demons or whatever, but it's not biblical. There's no scripture that revealed this. So what
No.
makes you believe that that's scripture? It's Gnostic or something, but it's not biblical. It doesn't mention anything about demons,
Well,
summons
no,
demons,
mate.
nothing. And the box on the Jew's
The
head
Bi-
is
the
nothing
whole
to do with
Bible
demons.
is full of supernatural
Yeah, if you look,
stories.
if you
Magic,
yeah, but it's not
giants,
literal.
fucking all sorts of things. It's full of those stories.
Yeah.
Okay, literal. What's literal? I said, you know, I'm starting to think. I'm starting to think that nobody knows anything about anything.
And that
okay?
includes us.
We're all just winging it. Okay.
Yeah.
The theologians, priests, the scientists, the doctors, everybody, the the gurus, everyone is just winging it.
Yep.
Okay, it's like, you know, oh, but bullshit. It's just one person finding something that anyone could find.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So this idea about putting someone up there or out there,
Yeah.
Nelson Mandela, Mahatma Gandhi, whatever, it's bullshit. Right. So it's kind of say. But it's the whole thing about, you know, where there's smoke, there's usually a fire. All right. Now, you have to look at the whole picture, and that you have to understand that the Jews, like the serious ones, they've got a book called the Zohar.
Yeah.
All right, and it is their book of fucking magic. All right, and they do all sorts of things, and they make golems. They get entities to appear.
And you believe that?
They do. They do. Okay.
Right.
So, but not many people realise that. They don't understand that. You know, because the Jews aren't supposed to practice magic. That's all witchcraft. That's you know, terrible. They're supposed to burn their children and not practice witchcraft, right? So they don't. Apparently, they don't burn their fucking stone their children to death anymore. Not out in public anyway.
Yeah.
But the magic thing, that's a huge part of the whole Jewish thing. Huge.
It's part of the Jewish thing.
Oh, mate, the Kabbalah and the I could go on and on and on about the symbolisms that they bring into their understandings.
But it makes you a heretic to believe that.
Tetragrammaton and the 42 names of God and their actual language, gematria, the symbols and the numbers involved. It's all to do with magical processes. Like, you know, magic in as far as things that we don't understand. Well, most people don't understand it. Magic is not magic if you understand it.
Right.
It's only magic when you don't understand it. Once you understand it, it's not magic.
So it's Jewish alchemy. Is it going back to Egyptian? Here, mate. Sort of like, so they're all linked with this Egyptian pyramid thing. They're all part of it.
Yeah, but what's the Egyptian stuff linked to? See?
Well, the aliens and
it just keeps
fallen
going
ones.
back and back and back. Right? And most people are finding some kind of level that they can think that they can relate to, and they kind of like leave it there.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm trying to, I want to go, you know, I'm thinking it's necessary to go beyond
do you admit that you could be deceived? Because the Bible warns about all these mysteries, and that it could be taking you off the path of the straight and narrow.
You mean I should be in every? You mean as against an every word?
Well, that's the opposite extreme, isn't it? What is the middle ground?
Yeah, I'm trying to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
Because I can't be. I don't.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing about God and the humans. That relationship would have to be something close to humans and the ants. All right.
Yeah.
Now, the only way we can communicate with ants, if there's an ant there, and we want him to go there, all right?
Yeah.
Well, we can put down little bits of sugar, we can put down little barriers, okay?
Yep.
And little sort of signs
Yep.
that we know he'll follow, and eventually he'll end up over there. He uses little we'll use signs and like lures and
Yeah.
crumbs to get them to go over there. Well, I'm thinking that that's about the level of the relationship with God and humans, okay? And the Bible is one series of little signs and symbols that he's using to get people to go over there, okay? I mean, so it's not a face value document. It says it's supposed to be a supernatural document. So you wouldn't read it like an ordinary book. But they read it like an ordinary book, like it's these little stories.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
And they believe, and everywhere, oh, it's literal. You know what I mean?
Mm. Like I did tell Andrew, I said, Zach is not interested in a building or a church or all these people coming together all dressed up reasonably nicely and talking their every word. He's not interested because we talk about God, we talk about a lot of things. But the every worders insist on you getting to church. They're trying to get you to go to church. Okay, the religious people, they want your money. They take your money. Well, even some of the grace churches do that too. What is the big deal about going to a building and sitting there listening to a sermon week after week? It's all right now and then, but then you get a gut full of it. You know?
Well, the thing is, if God wants those people there, it's got nothing to do with you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
Because whenever we're attached to other people's reasonings and that, we're losing our own chance to look at it this way. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one thing to want. There's only one prayer, and you could lose the whole Bible except the very last line, right before it says the end. Right? Keep that one, and that should do it.
Uh-huh.
You know what the very last line is?
The end. Huh?
No, the very last line before it says the end.
In Revelations is the last word.
There's one last line of the Bible.
Peace or something. Peace be with you or something. I don't know. What is it? No, I don't know.
Go and get your Bible now.
No, I don't know. No, just say.
No, it'd be too easy for me to say.
No, I'd rather you just say it. Go on.
No, I'm not going to. You can get your Bible now.
The last sentence of the Bible. All right, look that up.
Yeah, look that up. And you can lose the rest of it, I reckon.
Right. Okay.
So.
Didn't take notice. Jesus is coming or something. I don't know. The end.
The very last line is, even so, come Lord Jesus. Right? So you could lose the rest of it, I reckon, and just stick with that one. Okay.
Yeah.
And if everybody just did that, right?
Just have the hope of Christ coming.
And with the values that go along with that, the fruit that goes along with that.
Yeah.
But we don't get that, you know?
No, we make a big church out of it, a circus actually, and start judging one another.
There's only one prayer, and there's only one thing to want. And if we can't have that, well, then what are we supposed to do? So people get involved in the events, and that's
the events, yeah, programs, activities, and fundraising, or whatever they do in the churches. Just get you involved, get you out of your house, and I don't know. It's like, are we being judged because if you don't go to church? I mean,
you know, in America, the alphabet people have fucking taken over.
What's that?
The alphabet people.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
The LGBT.
Oh yeah.
I call them the alphabet.
The alphabet people, right?
Yeah.
The gays.
Put A in there as well for arsehole. That would fucking fit. I call them the alphabet people. They're taking over in America in the churches,
I know.
in the schools, and they have these big
and they got
rallies,
preaching going on.
These trannies, like full-on trannies, screaming out of the microphone, "We're coming for your children. We want your children. We're coming for your children." Lipstick and
that's pushing.
Lots of them, and they serve them in the primary schools. the trannies in the primary schools look at and teaching with the kids and opening the rainbow books and you know.
No. Yeah, and preaching this thing on YouTube
Yeah.
about Jesus saying,
No, about
yeah,
the fucking.
yeah, I know, but
Saying,
saying all the.
oh yeah, and God, and this is how God wants things.
Yeah, and of course here in Australia we've got the Aboriginals got all these rights. You know, they've got more rights they've ever had, even though that's their land originally. But now they want us to vote yes for them to give them even more rights. They could be next thing they'll be bloody Aboriginal fucking taking over the country.
This is
But
Albanese. I'm so sorry I voted Labor. But what was the alternative? Fucking Dutton. Oh.
yeah, I couldn't stand that bald-headed
Dutton.
prick. Yeah, I know.
Oh,
It reminds me of
shit.
Keaton. Keaton's like, yeah.
Fucking Dutton.
Yeah, remember Keaton is walking past it, bloody in where is it? In Melbourne, Fitzroy, and the beggar's on the street and he's got, I want money for food. He just walks up to him. It's on video. Get a job.
Who was it?
Keaton. He's walking past this beggar on the street. He's got a sign saying, I'm hungry, I want food. And he just turns around, looks down on him. Get a job.
Paul Keating.
Paul Keating said it. Yeah, get a job. Yeah, right.
And the bloke should have looked up and said, well, why don't you fucking create one, you cunt? Yeah, that's your fucking job.
And yet Hawkeye was pretty popular, and he had a beer and everything, and everybody got get off work for the America's Cup. He even had a day. He said anybody that says you have to work on this day is a bum. Remember he said that? He was pretty good. My nana loved Bob Hawke, but he was a bit of a boozer. It's just all nonsense, isn't it? Eh? You just got to find that middle path.
Right. We've had this conversation several times, but as we've said, there's a footprint in the Bible that you can't deny. Deny it at your own peril. Okay? Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. Okay, there's a footprint all through it.
Yeah.
But you've got to be sort of, you can't be this closed off, dogmatic every word, because you end up like the fucking Pope.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
That's not what's going on. Next second, you're killing people in righteousness, torturing, persecuting. Because, you know, that's where that goes.
I know.
Because, and a lot of that's in the fucking Old Testament.
Yeah.
Where do you think fucking Muhammad got all his gruesome shit from? Straight out of the Old Testament. Okay?
So what does it mean by going?
So there's a disconnect.
Disconnect.
Go on.
What does it mean when Paul spoke about we need to discover these holy levels? What is holy? What is holy? Without being religious.
My gut is trying to tell me something about Paul.
Yeah?
And
tell me.
That, well, it might have been a ring-in, you know, because he never met him, right? But all of a sudden, so he never heard any of the original teachings.
No, and he was
okay.
Yeah, right.
So he never spent any time with him. He just saw a fucking light and heard a voice.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to bring in all these fucking ordinances and everything.
Hey, he brought that in.
Yeah.
I thought Peter and all them did it.
Well, Paul was one of the main drivers because he was an Orthodox Jew, so he was steeped in fucking orthodoxy rituals and tradition and how it's supposed to be, right? So he hears his voice and he goes blind.
Yeah.
And then starts bringing in all the orthodoxy and everything like that. Okay. And, I don't know. If they'd have just left it to the fucking red letters.
Yeah.
Just the teaching.
I see.
So you've got the teachings of Paul and you've got the teachings of Jesus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm more interested in the teachings of Jesus rather than the teachings of Paul. He didn't even meet him.
But it says something in the New Testament. If you deny Paul, you deny Jesus.
Yeah, well, you know, like, I mean, you've got to got to watch this every word thing, and they've been doing it for
Yeah.
2,000 years. And look at the world they have delivered. And what have we ended up with? A world full of religion and no sign of God. All right.
Yeah.
Who do you know who's been healed? You know, this doesn't happen, right?
It's not no.
No matter how much rhetoric and gum flapping goes on around that subject,
Yeah.
the healings don't happen.
Right.
Right? There's a huge disconnect somewhere, and I want to spend my time trying to.
I mean, I know Dynamo's a fault. I mean, he's whatever it's supernatural or not, the magician guy, walking on water and all this magic. He's doing more than the bloody Christians, and yet he's not a Christian, but he's producing miracles.
It could be an illusion too. That's what they.
How did he walk on the water?
Yeah, well, see, that's what I mean. It's Houdini. All of how do they do it? That's the allure of it. How do they do that? And then there's the whole thing. Oh, a good magician never reveals his secrets. So there's obviously secrets. But yeah, I know some of it.
Yeah.
Like that lady that changes her fucking clothes.
Yeah.
And
just
the Chinese face changes.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, I mean, like I said, and the Bible is full of supernatural stories of supernatural stuff in the world. So people read the Bible, every word, but they don't think there's any supernatural stuff going on. But oh yeah, the Bible, it's all true, every word of it. Oh, but there's nothing supernatural.
And if you see an angel, you see a grandmother, oh, that's all bullshit. That, it's hallucinated, and yet they believe in Jesus, but they don't believe in the miracles. Because that's what I was told. If my grandmother appeared to me, it was bullshit. It's a demon. It's got to be a demon.
I think the miracles was back then.
Yeah, back then, yeah.
Yeah.
Day of Pentecost.
And somehow we have to sort it out. Right? Because, and if you talk to anyone, you're only going to get their version of whatever they think they've sorted out.
It's their version. Yeah.
Of what they think they've sorted out. But in effect, no one knows anything about anything. Right? That's what it's like. And if you look at this world, it's so.
Well, you can tell people that are boxed in, because if somebody says to me, I am not interested in going to the church, but I am interested in hearing what you have to say about Jesus and the wisdoms, the fruits, the understandings. So why do these people enforce you to go to church as if you can't be saved?
Because misery loves company.
Misery loves company.
But also it's told to not deny the gathering together.
We're gathered together?
But they,
yeah.
And then you get the 10%.
Oh, and the money, tithing.
And
I just found out that these Grace Christians, the Baptist anyway, I went to this Baptist with Andrew, they're all fundamentally 10% tithe payers, just like the Mormons. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, because in their mind, they're at least doing that. Forget the love, compassion, mercy, forgiveness thing. Forget all that. But I can give them a 10%. So it's like they're doing their bit. But remember when the old lady gave the 2 mites, and Jesus said that lady has given more than that person who gave $1,000.
Yeah.
She's given fucking everything. She just gave her heart in those 2 mites.
Yeah.
So that's it. Most people there, it's just going through these routines.
I know, and I ask him, do you pay it on your pension? Do you pay it on money that you won, or a gift, or everything? He said, yep, even on government rent assistance for houses, you pay it on everything. Everything. Whoa.
Yes. What do you think I sit in my little shed?
Shit. So they're not getting my money. I'd rather give it to the poor, and it's going to be a cashless society anyway. Won't be able to help the poor before long because there'll be no money. Why give it to a church when there's people starving? Just
you can buy yourself some cigarettes.
No, that's big, buddy. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. You get caught up in these curriculums and elders and answering to people, and you start to think that
and
that's what you
girls
have
on
to.
the internet.
Look, mate, when I became a great Christian, I was on my own for a year. I never went to any church. I was happy. I was more happier then because I had no distractions. I just got converted to this grace, got set free from religion, and then I went back investigating and then went to churches. And I tell you what, now I'm sort of thinking, oh, I'm not paying my tithes, or I'm not involved in the activity or the fate or the, what do you call it, the fate, the charities and all, whatever goes on in these churches and the mission programs and the Bible studies, and it goes on and on and on. I didn't need that from the start.
It's the world.
Yeah, yeah.
But they consider themselves not in the world,
Yeah,
not of it. Right?
yeah.
They're, as far as they're concerned, they're standing outside of the world. Right? But then,
I think because they don't drink or smoke, they're not of the
doesn't
world.
mean that they're going through the motions. They're doing
Yeah,
something that
repetitious.
but
Yeah,
meantime, they've got resentment and unforgiveness, and anxiety
quick to
in
judge.
other areas. They've got and that's okay. They're living with that stuff.
Yeah,
But they're given their 10%. So
yeah.
they're doing they're doing the sort of doing not for the right reason at the wrong time, and it's kind of like they're not working on the right issues.
Consumed by all this
So
nonsense. I mean, it's nice to go to church now and then, but after a while, you start talking to them, and they like last week, the bloody pastor that was preaching. He was preaching against abortion. So afterward, I went up to him and said, "What if a woman is medically going to die to have that child?" And he says, "Oh, well, there's ways now of taking the baby out before the mother dies." I said, "No, I'm talking if literally she's going to die, but well, you wait till the child's developed and then you take it out." I said, "The mother's going to die." Well, they're even against abortion. If a mother's going to die, you can say, and if somebody rapes your white woman, you can't have an abortion. You give that child up for adoption because it's a rapist child. There is no excuse for an abortion, right? There's no excuse for divorce. There's no excuse for anything. And I thought that religion has their lords, but yeah,
everything's fucking broken, right? Nothing makes
yeah,
any sense. Good is now bad, bad is now good.
yeah,
What was right is now wrong, and vice
yeah,
versa.
yeah.
Okay, it's just a fucking kaleidoscope.
Just like this Mormon guy Tim Ballard, he just got condemned by the church because he rescued 5,000 sex trafficking women that were
What they condemn him for?
They won't disclose it, but they've condemned him because he said they were funding him to help these women, and then he brought the church into it or something, and they denied that they had anything to do with some type of financial support, because this guy's a movie producer and he's famous and he's now he's weak.
That Sound of Freedom?
Yes, that's it. He made the movie. He's a Mormon, and
he's not very popular, and the movie hasn't.
No.
Apparently, a few people.
Why are people condemning the movie? Not the ones that on the.
Well, because apparently they're involved in it, and he's spoiling the party.
Right.
He's spoiling their fucking party.
That's right, because they were given funds, and then they stopped it because he went on. He went over there and he felt so sorry for what was going on. He made it his mission, and the church stopped him, tried to stop him.
If there's any substance in this thing about the two seeds, okay, well, then the other seed doesn't give a shit about hurting a little child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's not their fault. It's what they are. We need to understand. Okay. But so they don't see it. The stuff they do, they don't see it as wrong. They see it as an experience that they are owed. You know what I mean? So, and the numbers break down to 2/3. That's 6 billion. So for every 2 out of 3 people you meet out there,
Yeah.
according to the breakdown, okay, they're the other seed. So most of the people in the world have got no problem with abusing young children. They think it's okay. They think that's a normal part of life.
They're like a sacrifice.
For a man to fucking get a 7, 8-year-old girl and fuck her, right?
Yeah.
Because, oh, well, she's a little girl, and this one happens to little girls, you know. And
Yeah, then kill
I'm
'em.
lucky enough to have this one right now, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck her, right? They don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
They think it's a normal part of life, like that fucker in Germany who locked up his daughter for 10 years. I mean, had a couple of kids with her.
Yeah.
Okay? He said look, what was wrong? It's a normal part of family life to have your daughter locked up in a dungeon. He said that was what he said. It's a normal part of family life. So they don't have, and that's what. So okay, it might be scary, but it seems to be what's actually going on. So that's why you don't want to listen to anything that hardly anyone's got to say, right?
Mm.
If you're going to find any kind of sanity and sense and security in this world, we need to go within, because out there it's madness.
Yeah.
If it was paradise out there, okay, then I'd say go and join a group. Okay, there's some miracles happening over there, beautiful things happening there. Yeah, go to that one there. They know how to grind beautiful food down there. You know, I say go and listen to people, what they've got to say.
Yep.
But it's not that world, is it?
No, not after what I heard last week.
Oh, mate,
Woman
seen.
Can't have an abortion if they're going to die. That's fundamentally
what
bullshit.
About ghettos?
Yeah.
And wars and people starving to death, and what about that shit? That's fucking passe. It's like, oh yeah, well, ghettos, wars, people dying in terror and pain, but my superannuation account's looking good.
Yeah.
And my sports team is going to win the premiership.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just, there's no safety or sanctity or security in anything, in events. You can't, it's got to be, it's all about you, right? And
is it?
Yeah, of course it is. It's all about you, and
I thought it's about Jesus.
No, it's all about you, and it's all about
what?
Me, and everyone. It's all about them. First of all, being able to be still and quiet enough to hear Jesus. All right.
Oh, I see your point.
You know what I mean? But everyone's looking out there.
You mean the inner you, not the worldly you. You mean the inner you,
away from all the events and people, places, and things that everyone is involved in to try to get some kind of validation or understanding.
Yeah.
Not gonna get it. Right?
Yeah.
Not in this world. Okay? It's not that kind of world. I'm sorry, but I didn't make it.
Yeah.
It was already here like this when I got here.
Mm.
And according to the videos I've been watching lately, I'm the kind of person that is going to make big changes in the world. All right. So, and just I'm the only one who really knows what I've carried with me all these years. But you'd be one of the people that got a bit of an idea that if because all the things I've talked about, if any of that starts to happen, well then there will be big changes in the world, because that's exactly what I've seen. So in order for us to fight we have to be prepared. And we do not get prepared by listening to other people and trying to get validation from other people. Right?
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about our internal dialogue, right? The one-on-one thing, and being led. It's what we've been talking about ever since I got back from Albany, and everything I put in the book, Big God, Little God. There's it's the peace. You go after the peace. Now, all those Mormons are ones that said, "Oh no, you blacklisted it." They haven't got peace. You know what I mean? They've got anxiety about you. They haven't got peace because they're worried about you. They shouldn't be worried about you. They shouldn't be worried about anything. Where's their peace? They haven't got peace. If they had peace, they wouldn't be harassing you. If you had peace, you wouldn't be harassing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just two unpeaceful people fucking spitting at each other. Right? You gotta stop that. You know?
Yeah.
There's no peace out there. Gratitude is the key. Gratitude for having what you've got right now. Right? But genuine gratitude with not wanting anything but just acknowledging, not wanting what you haven't got, just acknowledging completely what you have got, but in a pure sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
In a pure sense. There's no magic fix. There's no magic bullet that anyone can give you or say to you that is going to enlighten you, okay?
Yep.
It's a combination of your experiences and your desires and intents within you. And if those desires and intents aren't aligned with, like the pure desires and intents, then you're just going to be caught in a world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like,
well, I went 3 days, turned the phone off, right? No distractions from anything, no phone call. I just turned the phone off. I was absolutely at peace. I had no temptations. Not even a smoke or anything. I just went 3 days. And then I decided, I'm a bit bored now. I turned the phone on. The moment I turned the phone on, something popped up.
see, that's where you failed.
Yeah.
You let your mind a bit bored now. That's where you should have pushed through and taken control with a bit of mindfulness and understood, that's a program that's coming through. Of course it is. And if I give into it, it's all going to start again. But I have the power to sit here quietly and observe that emotion that's in me, but not act on it. I will not move my hands. I will not turn that phone on, even though I know that my body in my mind wants to.
Yeah.
I have the power to actually not
Well,
do
see,
that.
Jamie said to me, because he stayed here a night, and he said all this religious stuff in you. I said to Jamie, the reason why I have a smoking is because it stops me from being religious. It's programmed in me, see, brainwashed. And he said, you need Reiki, which is they do this healing energy thing, and they go back to your past and they try to remove the negatives. And Jamie said it'll never leave you until you get this sort of Reiki. It'll be locked into your system, and every time you try to go like that type of spiritual
this is the stuff
path, fasting, whatever, it's all going to keep coming up. He said religion's not going to take it away, it's going to feed it.
Apparently.
How do you do it then?
Well, it's difficult to start, apparently, but if you can just force yourself to not actually move your hands, to not go ahead with that thing that your body and mind is telling you to do. Right? If you can force yourself to actually not move, even though your mind is saying, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do this.
Yeah,
you can force yourself to say, no, I'm not doing it. I'm just going to sit here. apparently it gets easier.
Jamie did it for 5 days at a Buddhist retreat, and everyone else left practically. There's a couple of people left. He sat in yoga position for 5 days, just water, nothing else. And he reckons he just went into an. It was hard for the first few days, and all of a sudden he escaped and he was free, and because he was on an empty tank of his motorbike because out in the forest, um, and he had no way of getting home. But when he went and got on his bike, it was a full tank. So he said something nirvana, the blessing of the universe, took care of him. He did it for 5 days, and he said, Kirky, you got to be still. You've got to absolutely be still and put everything out
This
of
is
your
kind
head.
of what I'm talking about.
Religion,
Most
everything.
people find that very difficult to do.
Yeah.
But it's what we have to do.
Mm.
We have to force ourselves. But it gets easier.
It gets easier. Yeah.
Because the body is supposed to be on our side, right?
Mm.
But until we've trained it, it's not.
Mm.
But we can train it. That's why, musicians practice and they get better at their instrument, right? Because they're training their body to play the thing. It's the same. We can train our body to want to do that.
Yep.
But initially, it's really hard.
Yep.
And I'm just at the starting process of, it's really hard. But I can sort of see the light, can see a light way down there. But it's because that's immediately what happens. The programs in the mind and the body straight away. Anything that's kind of like, it's just got to be back to the familiar, okay? Because as soon as you're not moving, the body and the mind, the only time the body and the mind is happy that when you're not moving is when you're asleep. When you're awake, it's expecting to be doing something, right? And thinking things. And when you're not doing that, that's unfamiliar to the body and the mind, right? That's why it kicks and screams. But apparently we've got the power. It's really our power. We're just giving it to the mind and the body. But we can take that back. And I want to get more of that.
And what's that got to do with avoiding coffee, avoiding any type of addiction?
See,
I mean, how is that?
This is the other thing,
Yeah.
So, but I'm just thinking, instead of making it too complicated, you just got to make a start, and then I'm sort of hoping that the other stuff will just naturally drop off. You know what I mean?
Without being forced.
Yeah. So because that's another deterministic kind of event. You've got to do this, and then that will happen. And it's just that's back to the old game of cause and effect.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So without going there, right? Because that's just another kind of program. Right? Another thought. Yeah. So to escape from all of those, and then underneath that, you've got to have the right intent.
The right intent.
Millions and millions of, I'm sure the other fucking seed meditate as well. All right. So, but for all different reasons.
The power of something.
For all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Needs to be for the right reason.
Well, the secret society is all about silence, hush, hush, don't reveal, protect one another, but anyone who goes against it, knock them off, bump them off, assassinate them. It's an evil thing, but they've got this sort of silence and this distilled focus. I think it's called ISIS Cemetery. They're an observation from the Freemason branch. They keep an eye on what's going on in all religions and philosophies. And they silenced me once on my videos. They silence you fool. And they looked it up, and they were watching me. I went quiet for a while, but they don't like gum flappers, but yet they're secret society. They're the elite, and it's the elite that are probably kidnap those children and kill them and all this sort of thing for their rituals. So it's just any way you look, there's some type of programming.
It's a nightmare out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of good people out there, unfortunately, But yeah, it does appear to be a prison planet.
Prison planet.
Yeah, it does appear to be that.
Ah,
Um,
right.
And so I'm.
I'm going to make a coffee in a minute because I'm here to be sociable with you. So just say what you're going to say. I'm going to make coffee because I'm not going to start doing anything when I've got a friend visiting me because I don't have very many people drop in visit me. So, but I'm hearing what you're saying. But I did it for 3 days, but I don't know how to keep doing it. That's the problem. It's just
Me neither.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
shutting down everything and
So
going into stillness.
it can't be a rules based thing.
No,
You know, I mean, the intent is going to be pure. The little child thing. The little child doesn't know about rules and order and stuff.
well,
It's just everything's just wonderful.
But it gets it. In the end, they get religious, indoctrinated. They get the rules.
But the
originally,
the metaphor of the little child.
Yeah.
That's what will do it.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to reach.
But not the little child that sucks up to false prophets and give you money. And
no, that's childish.
That's childish.
It's going to be childlike.
Right, gotcha.
Okay, and everything wonderful.
So a lot of these religious people are saying they're childlike, but they're actually being childish.
Yeah.
They're going along following the blind.
Yeah.
Right.
But childlike is everything is wonderful.
Yeah.
That's childlike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything. Everything's wonderful. Wow, you know.
Yeah.
Inside.
That wow feeling.
Yeah, inside. Life, the stars, the clouds,
Yeah.
the trees, the birds.
Yeah, and we've complicated.
The butterflies, everything's wonderful.
You know what, mate? Sometimes I wish I was taken in that accident, you know.
Tell me about it.
And you too, and you had your accident. I would have bypassed all this bullshit. And then I get told by these Christians that I could end up in hell, I could lose my salvation. Some say you never, but you can if you're not holy. You're not there. You're just casual. You're just whatever you. Yeah.
How many of these people that you think spend any part of any day just being aware of the creation and how amazing? How many people do you think stop for just a few minutes and just? I'm sure there are a few, but
yeah,
most people
no.
If you ask them, do you stop and consider creation and the trees and the clouds and the winds, and that give you a weird look?
Yeah.
You know, what's wrong with you?
Bless the
There's
tree.
things to do. Gotta go here. Gotta go there.
Yeah.
Responsibilities. You know.
Yeah.
It's not about the creation. It's about everything that they need, right? To feel validated and survive. Okay, this experience. They're separated from it.
Well, it's about the creator.
Yeah, and they're separated from it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a separation. It's them and there's there's all the stuff going on. They don't realise that they're connected to everything.
Yeah.
Okay, we are all connected to everything.
Yeah.
But
understood.
We need to get out of these programs that are locked into our mind and our body. That all kind of need to be, purged.
Yeah. Mate, the last time I did the 3-week thing, I did 3 weeks, locked myself up 3 weeks, and I did it. Of course, on the 3rd week, exactly as I planned to break it, I could have continued. A neighbour knocked on the door, not here, this is where I lived before, with a carton of piss. And I didn't get drunk, but it started, right?
Yeah.
Next thing I'm on a plane, I'm sitting on a desert on an island having a cocktail. Everything from going from a place of not needing anything to wanting everything. What an extreme. I felt I had to make up for giving myself 3 weeks of bloody nothingness.
Yeah, it's just all mind stuff.
Yeah.
Why did I decide to hitchhike over east and
Yeah.
destroy my fucking family and my life? And
Yeah.
just when a thought came into my head, I'll go over. Why don't I hitchhike over east? So I acted on it. Most stupid thing.
Yeah.
Done,
You walked away from that princess. Yeah.
Way before that, when I hitchhiked over east when I was fucking 19.
Yeah.
I
remember that.
Broke my family up, and it's a stupid fucking thing to do.
Yeah.
Just a reaction to a stupid thought. So
adventure. Yeah.
I thought, but it was a stupid thought, and I didn't stop and think. So that's it. Our thoughts and our Our thoughts are not our friends until we've trained them. We don't get taught in this kind of society, what reality version of reality. We don't get taught to train our mind and our body to work properly. We just get taught to fill it with fucking the brain with information, to be able to kind of like influence form and make money. It's just all about learn this and do that and get this, right? There's nothing to do, that. See, okay, this way of thinking, has only been around about 300 years since the Industrial Revolution, 400 years. But we've been around for thousands and thousands of years, okay? And we were doing fine up until the Industrial Revolution and the Renaissance and every science and technology came along.
Yep, living off the land.
So, but people now think that this is the only way to live. But there were other ways to live. For thousands of years, they didn't have electricity and everything but they got on fine.
Yeah.
They had a great life.
And they were hunters and gatherers, and that means they were in ketosis, which
way past hunters.
That's why they're healthy.
Cities, all sorts of things. They had hot running water, but those were all without electricity and taxation and all this control and this indoctrinating of the education systems. And the pillars of society and the bankers and all that stuff. Okay? There was a time when we didn't have any of that.
And if we're hungry, just go out and 20 miles and hunt. You're tracking all day.
There was a community that provided. You didn't have to buy. It wasn't always like this. With this,
tribal.
Everyone has to pay or you die.
It
wasn't always. This is not the only way to live. It hasn't always been. There were other times when we didn't live in this materialistic, controlled, hierarchical type of where you got the elite and everything. There was a time when we didn't have that. We got on fine. We had inspired people doing mathematics and all sorts of things. Okay, but then it changed to this. But this is not the only way to live. That's why you can't get any sense out of it. The thing we have to find is the thing that we've had in common with all the people right from the start. Okay? The archetype of the good, solid archetypes, the things that have brought us through thousands of years without electricity, without dishwasher, without phones, everything. Okay? We got on fine. We need to get in touch with that part of it. That's getting buried. All right? But there's a few of us who refuse to.
And just touch upon the shaman thing again, because it's not being Buddhist, but you kind of just having a love and respect for nature and the spirit of nature, and that's something that brings me a bit of peace.
The connection
without having to be a Buddhist or anything.
Forget Buddhism.
Yeah.
This is all part of the nonsense.
No nonsense. The Buddhist.
Like I said, he got all those people to fucking kill themselves.
Yeah, well, they were looking at corpses for how long?
He told them to look at corpses.
Just to meditate on corpses?
Yeah,
idiots.
To appreciate their humility.
Appreciate their humility?
Yeah, so they would develop humility, right? And they ended up fucking getting so depressed they killed themselves. All right?
See, they shouldn't have listened to Buddha.
That's what I mean. So he didn't create anything.
No.
No one creates anything. It's all already there. Everything. Science, technology was already around us. We just sort of find it.
Yeah, we digressed in a sense. We got technically more advanced, but we got less in touch with ourselves.
Even the technology, everything we discover, it was already there. We haven't created any of the elemental forces.
No.
It's all there.
It's all there, yeah.
You know? And I was talking about the way we're living now is, imagine that you're taken to a big room, and you've got a blindfold on, all right? You can't see anything, and you were told that in one of the corners of the room there is a big pile of objects, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
there's a big pile of objects,
Yep.
and you're told that with the blindfold on, you've got to find your way to the corner of the room that's got all the materials in it.
Yep.
And then you've got to select out of those materials, and you've got to go into the center of the room and build a big castle, and it's got to be perfect, and it's got to have a wall and a moat and a drawbridge and a high tower,
Yep.
a flag on top and little windows, and it's got to be big and it's got to be perfect, right? And you get a blindfold on, you're in a dark room, and you're going to go find your way over to the pile of stuff, find something that feels like something, and then take it somewhere and put it somewhere that feels like it's in the right place.
Yeah.
That's how people are living. You know what I'm saying? They're expected to. That's how they're expected to create reality, because that's how we're taught. Okay, but there were other times when we were taught differently. Okay, but that's right now. That's what we're expected to
Shit,
do.
I miss the old days, mate. I miss the old days when I had my motorbike, my dog, and just got the hell out of, went out in the bush.
Yeah, when we were young.
And no
See,
TV, no technology
so
like that.
we've got to try to find that.
Yeah.
You know, this law of attraction thing about just imagine what you want. Just what about just trying to imagine that feeling of excitement and you know, like good time for just right now,
Right
in the
now.
here and now, without needing anything.
Yeah.
That joy.
Why don't you and I get a couple of those, what do you call it, those gold detectors, and go out
That'd be
prospecting?
great.
Wouldn't that be great? Have a bit of a camping thing.
As soon as there's some,
Yeah.
you gonna make coffee.
I'm going to make coffee, mate.
I'll have a coffee.